Hello everyone, so welcome to the project 2, which is going to be an interview project. So here we're gonna shoot our own interview. So just read through this and I just compile the information on how you can approach this. So first, you need to decide what kind of interview it is going to be, like what kind of a format it is going to be shot at. So it is going to be two-person seated, or it's just going to be one person, like a off the camera interview or kind of style, or like a one-person documentary style, or it's going to involve a lot of cutaways and inserts, or it's going to be like a movement shots where you're going to be moving around and then exploring the space with the interviewee and that kind of stuff. So let's just take a look at different types of the interview, different formats of interview. So first one, I'm gonna move on to the most simple one to the most complex. So let's take a look at the simple one person off the camera interviewer style. So here, this artist right here, his channel name is Soft White Underbelly. So he has like a crazy collection of all this interview of these individuals. So if you want to take a look at how he approaches his interview artistically and his project collection of all this, just take a look at this. I think he's done a fantastic job on this. Let's take a look at this particular interview. So here, there's only one person is shown in the framing. You don't see the interviewer, you only see the interviewee, which is this this lady right over here. So if you know what you're going to be notice is that the interviewer, which is going to be the person who's shooting the this video, is gonna ask a question, and then that question is coming from off the frame, meaning that you're not going to be able to see the person who's speaking. So it is just going to be the shot of framing of this human figure interviewee, and that is it. So,
and very angry all the time, and dealing with all of that throughout my life and learning how to cope is what initially made me want to go into mental health.
So what do you think causes these problems? Why do you think this exists in our society?
Notice that we don't get to see him at all because he's off the camera, he's off the frame. So this is one of the simplest way. And also this interview is 41 minutes, but it does not involve any kind of inserts or cutaways. It is just the human figure, and he shot it in the two angles. So he's using like two cameras, 2 or 3. So first he introduced this frontal view, and then this lower angle 3/4 view and things like that. So this kind of a different changing of the perspective is what makes it less boring, because if it is just front of view for 41 minutes, it is going to be very not much interesting. But at least he's introducing this kind of a shift of the perspective so that viewers are still engaged a little bit. But I think that the reason why he limited different perspectives and the numbers of cameras and things like that is because he wanted to emphasize the content of the interview, not the visuals. So let's take a look at different example. So here there's only one person is shown, but on traditional interview style where there's a two-person is seated, and then interviewee, which is the past president of the United States, and the interviewer, this guy right here, George Stepan, I can never say his name, by the way. But here is a more traditional way of the news outlet style interview. So if you take a look at it, by the way, I'm not projecting any kind of a political views on this, like things like that. So this is the latest interview video that I was able to find. So there's no political agenda that I'm projecting here. But let's just take a look at how this was shot. So first, this is just kind of just to show off all the gears they have. This is necessary, but still you can introduce this kind of thing just to show how the event is going on. But this is definitely not necessary. So first he starts with this kind of a not quite 3/4 view, but still he is not looking directly at the camera. He's looking at the interviewer. So he's looking at the interviewer, and it shifts the Just gonna mute it. It has this gimbal movement kind of camera work to it. I think that's kind of a dramatic. And back to him, and then it uses a lot of different cameras. So this is gimbal right here, and then the camera here and there. So is him right here, and the interviewer right here, and then it shifts in different perspectives. Here gimbal shot again, just to make it, you know, a little bit more interesting, because here it isn't, they're not using the cutaways or inserts or anything like that. It's just two people, you know, having a conversation. So that is why it involves so many different camera angles, just to make the viewers engaged. So this is one of the traditional two-person seated news outlet style interview. But this is not what we are after. We want it to be a little bit more artistic. So let's take a look at the inserts and cutaways. So if you watched the previous video in this in the posting of the project 2, by the time you watch this video, you will know what is cutaways and inserts. So let's take a look at this video, this interview video, and let's just notice how the videographer here introduced different types of inserts and cutaways just to kind of make the viewers more engaged, and at the same time developing visual narration of introducing or conveying the information of the interview itself. Excuse me. So let's take a look at this.
My earliest memory of painting and drawing is...
Notice that this is a cutaway right here. It could be insert actually, because it is happening inside of this environment right here. This is what we're going to be doing. So I would say this is inserts.
My grandma used to have these stone animals in the garden.
Notice how it's shifting back and forth, this kind of a insert and the human subject. What was that? Oh, that was a Siri from my iPad, never mind.
Little sculptures, and I used to call them in with felt
Notice how introducing cutaway here.
tip pen. That's probably my earliest memory of any kind of drawing or painting. It's funny that it's animals.
Here now, it uses 24 seconds of just kind of introducing the artist herself, and then they're gonna start the interview. So this is another way you can tackle this as well. So it gives like a nice preview, just getting to know the human subject here, and then the interview starts. Notice how there's no one asking the question, so this is just one person interview. So it is a totally different type of interview. It's more like a documentary style almost.
Be an artist about 3 years ago when I took on oil painting properly. So before then I'd used kind of mixed media and different things, and I would just do that in my spare time. I kind of did a lot of research into oil paints so that I could use them, and from there that's when I knew I wanted to take it more seriously. I have been thinking about my...
So there's no question asked. The viewer don't know what the question is. So another way you can do is you can include text of the question and then have your have your talent respond to it. But also, if you want to make it seamless like this, that is totally fine. But you're gonna have to work with the interviewee, the talent, and just to have them be descriptive as much as possible on what they're saying, so that the viewers know that what the talent is talking about.
Theme for this collection for a long time. With there being a few different sections through the collection, that was quite selfishly.
Notice how much the cutaways and insert they're using to have this interview. I think it's done really beautifully. I think it's a good balance. It usually is around like 60 to 40 balance, 60 insert and cutaways and 40 human figure. I feel like this is hitting that proportion right there.
For my benefit, because it's just I wanted to work on everything at once.
So all these cutaways and inserts, we already done this for the first project, right? So this project is only inserting that human, shooting the human subject into it. So we've done all this, and then you're gonna have to include the things that you learned from the first project into this new subject, which is going to be the human figure, human subject. So all of these videos are in the videography inspiration playlist, so just take a look at that. And let's take a look at different type of interview. So this is done by the Metropolitan Museum of interviewing this artist.
My name is Wageshi Motu. I'm a visual artist.
It's kind of an establishing shot of who the viewers are going to be looking at. So it's a nice approach.
Born in Kenya, Nairobi. I feel like this particular
nice perspective shift right here. So 3/4 view,
commission of asking
and
a
then frontal view,
to place something
cutaway.
in these niches in the facade of the Metropolitan, for me, is one of the most proactive moves that a museum can make.
This dramatic shot right there.
The space has been empty since the museum was built. When the Met approached me about this idea, I was actually looking at caryatids. Caryatids throughout history have carried these buildings to express the might and the wealth of a particular place. In Greek architecture, you see these women in their beautiful robes. And then in African sculpture across the continent, you
Notice
see
how much cutaway is being used? This is almost 90% cutaways and 10% of artists itself talking to the camera or interviewer. Here we only get to see small little duration of her here, and then just a little part of her speaking right here. Back to the cutaway. See all that? So this is very heavy use of the cutaways and inserts. This is another approach that you can, use. So let's take a look at different type of interview here. So this is, I call it action interviews. This is where the talent and interviewer is walking around a space and talking about the questions and then the topics of the interview while they're engaging with the surroundings, which is going to be this studio right here. So this type of interview, it is going to be, they're going to heavily use the inserts instead of the cutaways, because things that they want to highlight, is all in this space right here. So let's take a look. Notice how cameraman or interviewer is moving with the talent interviewee right here.
So my background is as a printmaker, but equally drawing is probably one of the most integral parts of my practice.
Oh, it's nice seeing the old friends again.
So I'm interested in cultural memory tied to place, and so I'll sometimes use objects within work. I really like the idea of people working together. Your hands are busy doing something, you're looking down, you're not looking at each other. Communication gets shared. Did I end up using your string or Anne's string?
Notice that she is speaking from the space, that all the things that the topic of the interview is happening, whereas here she was inside of a set, and then cutaway is used to describe what the topic of interview is. But here she's actually inside of the space where the topic of the interview is happening. So that is the difference of type of interview here. So these are the examples of different types of interviews. So I want you to think about how to frame a human subject at the same time, including shots of objects, whether it be inserts or cutaways, to help to build that visual narrative within your interview project. So I want you to start thinking about how and where to have like a perspective change or transition, and what kind of cutaways or insert to include to supplement whatever the interviewee is saying. So that is going to be the main part of the project, is how you can incorporate those two elements to construct your visual narrative, your video. And plan it according to the type of the interview that you want to film. So, and also create a storyboard according to this, according to the type of the interview that you want to explore. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And once, make sure to book a one-on-one meeting so that we can talk about your plans and things like that. So I know this could be a little confusing at first. So just having your storyboard and then project proposal, and then talking about that, through the face-to-face, it'll really help to iron out all the confusion and possible mistakes or problems we can foresee